Good morning, Barbados. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning to you. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed, and welcome to today. What you just saw is exactly who we are as a people. Beautiful Barbados, from the sea coast to how we exercise on the beach, how we use our spaces as well, how we congregate, how we relate one with the other. It's just another slice of paradise. And so I say good morning to all of you everywhere. Thank you so much for joining us on Morning Barbados. It's Tuesday, the 25th of February 2025. I'm Pearson Bowen. Remember to continue watching us on our YouTube and Facebook streams, and also on our website cbc.bb, and we thank you for doing so. We also encourage you to share, like, and like. You know how to do this, right? And of course, if you have something to say to us or something to share with us, you can send it by email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Now, for those of you who are going to be traversing the stretch from the Buster roundabout to the Emancipation Statue right up to the Samuel Jackman Prescott roundabout, prepare for the mill and pave activity. And it will slow you somewhat, but now you know, now you are best forewarned. So just prepare to adjust your speed. Expect that the road surface will be a little different as we continue to improve the road surface here on the highway, the stretch of highway between the Emancipation Statue roundabout right up to the Samuel Jackman Prescott roundabout here outside of the CBC. Adjust your speeds accordingly, and hopefully in good time we will have smooth roads right outside of our business here at CBC. Good morning to you, Joy Barry. Good morning indeed. She's watching from Guyana. Thank you so much for watching from Guyana, Joy. And good morning, Barbados, from you too, Chitra Sukraj. Thank you, Chitra Sukraj. Thank you very much for watching from Guyana. Good love to you. Patricia Ben is watching from Philadelphia this morning. Patricia, we love it when you're watching all over the world. Sophia Dorville is sending greetings this morning to all of us here in Barbados on our YouTube stream as well. Thank you very much. I do know that we have Sonia, who's watching us in Nevis as well. We love it when you're watching us and sending messages to us. Talk to us, we'll talk back to you. We'll share the conversation with you as well. Tuesday morning it is indeed. Last week, Tuesday, I spent some time sharing with you on and the memories of a lovely lady, Jackie Marshall Clark. This Tuesday, I'm sharing with you now the memories of a lovely lady, a voice in Roberta Flack, who passed away yesterday at the age of 88, a very rich number, 88 indeed. And so we remember her contribution to life, her contribution to music. And I kept reflecting years ago, ever since I thought she had one of the easiest deliveries of music. What a powerful, powerful expression through her music. She loved to share. She loved to visit Barbados. She also encouraged Barbadians to be a member of her band. And so we want to pay a little bit of tribute to her this morning as we remember the remarkable journey and contribution of Roberta Flack. One of the people who played in her band was Nicholas Branker. He also shared his recollection of working with her with us. So take a look. Well, I'm sure you two have your collection of your memories, and as soon as that's possible, you let me know so that we can share that with everyone. But Nicholas was a member of her band, so too was Arturo Tap, and she pulled, as Ambassador Comishon was reminding me this morning, she pulled Barbadians into her band, people from everywhere, because she wanted just to have the best with her everywhere. Let's take a look at Nicholas's tribute.
Roberta Flack, and I just wanted to say a few words about her. She was the quintessential musician. We don't really use this word with women much. I'm not really sure why. But she was a genius. She understood music in a way that I have never seen before. She respected music in a way that made everybody else around her see how valuable music really was, even if you thought you knew how valuable it was before that. She also was generous with her knowledge She was a teacher. Everybody in America who is a great musician that functioned between, say, early 70s up until the late 90s came into contact with her in some way, and everybody was impacted by her. All of the musicians that I grew up idolizing worked in her band at some point, and they all spoke about her the same way. She knew how to interpret a song. She knew how to express the depths of emotion that a song contained in it. And she understood the value of creating a musical foundation for a song to soar. So we would be playing in her band, and there were always great musicians in the band, but you always knew that it wasn't really about what you could play or how good you were or how much facility you had. It was how sensitive you were and how you understood to use your skill for the betterment of the song and the whole group. I will always be indebted to her for that. I worked with her as a bass player.
That's Nicholas Branca there from the Nicholas Branca Band paying tribute to Roberta Flack, and you would have seen just a snapshot there of Arturo tapping as he played with her as well. If I said to you, I felt all flushed with fever, embarrassed by the crowd, do you know what song I'm thinking of and thinking in my head? If you don't, take a listen, take a look of Roberta Flack.
I heard he sang a good song. I heard he had a style. And so I came to see him to listen for a while. And there he was, this young boy, a stranger to my eyes, strumming my bed with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song. I felt all flushed with fever, embarrassed by the crowd. I felt he found my letters and read each one out loud. I prayed that he would finish, but he just kept right on, strumming my bed with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with this song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly.
See what I mean? Effortlessly. She interpreted it well, delivered her interpretation beautifully, and caught us all up in her fever. Indeed, that's Roberta Flack, and we shall always, forevermore, remember Roberta Flack. Indeed. So to her and her family, we extend deepest condolences. Greta Nichols says, Barbados, a tribute well deserved, a phantom writer and singer. May she rest in peace and rise in power. Thank you so much, Greta, for sharing your condolence as well. Now, coming up today, we want to celebrate with poetry as they mark their first anniversary. They've given some awards to some outstanding performers as a part of that spoken word outfit. We'll talk to them in a little bit. We'll also today be continuing our focus on reparations through the eyes of the artist as that exhibition continues in the gallery at Queen's Park. We want to meet the curator and another one of those who will be sharing from her perspective what she sees the 10-point plan of CARICOM for reparations to look like. We'll also be today connecting with BARP as they engage on a new partner in their medical plan. And so you want to get those details, don't you? We'll talk to them a little bit about that as well. And I promise you we'll have a riddle of the day in just a little while here on Morning Barbados. But I don't want time to get away from us because I want to turn to our conversations on CARICOM. It's Tuesday morning. And so coming out of the recently held CARICOM Heads of Government, we want to take a look at that. And we're joined this morning by Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Comachon. Ambassador Comachon, good morning.
Morning, Pearson.
What a good past few days we've had in Barbados for the CARICOM Heads of Government. We watched the opening ceremony, which in itself was riveting and impactful. And what do you think to be some of the takeaways from when the heads met and then they offered their communique?
It was a very successful meeting. You know, we had discussed it here, what to expect. Prime Minister Motley kind of laid out the mantra for the meeting in her opening address when she said it will not be business as usual, and that as things fall apart, CARICOM must hold the center. And so in looking at the outcomes, I would split it up into two halves. Mm-hmm. There was one half where CARICOM was outward looking, where in a world of increasing geopolitical instability and insecurity, we were looking outward to new partners and new partners who were looking at us as well as a region that respects international law, that is very mature, stable, and that indeed could hold the center. So we had guests like the Secretary General of the United Nations. For the very first time at a CARICOM Heads of Government Summit, we had the President of the European Union Commission. Then we had the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia, the President of the African Export-Import Bank, President of the Latin American and Caribbean Development Bank. And so those engagements delivered quite a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can go into it, but those engagements centered around how we will be responding to the new this new world of seeming instability and insecurity, and the new partnerships that we will be building out. So that was one part of it. The second part was where CARICOM really then looked inward. Mm-hmm. And we looked towards our own fundamental business. So the things that we really focused upon at this meeting were crime and security, food security, the CSME, the building of the CSME, tourism, regional tourism, a regional approach towards educational reform and revamping our education system. And we took a look towards the governance and financing systems within CARICOM. So, and then we did things like have Martinique sign up as a new associate member of CARICOM. So all in all, a very satisfying meeting. We are at the stage where one should not look to a CARICOM Heads of Government conference for some silver bullet, some single great breakthrough that would change everything. I think we're past that stage. I think now CARICOM has a very comprehensive agenda, a comprehensive permanent agenda that it is working on. And CARICOM Heads of Government meetings are occasions when the heads come together to look at different critical aspects of that agenda and to make decisions that only they can make at the very highest level. Mm-hmm. So what you see is really a mature institution with a settled agenda and gradually and incrementally working through that agenda, implementing that agenda.
Part of that agenda, using your words, coming out of that meeting would have been crime and security. Mm-hmm. And I know Dr. Keith Rowley, outgoing Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, at the end of it made a comment. I want to play that, and I want to get your take thereafter. Let's take a look at Dr. Keith Rowley's comment on crime and security. Rowley.
We spent a lot of time discussing, strategizing and taking decisions on an issue which is common to all of us in CARICOM, and that is the unacceptably high level of violent crime. So we focused on the legislation, law enforcement, and the public health aspects. With respect to the legislation, we agreed that notwithstanding social considerations, we agreed that the changing nature of crime is such that acts of violence in the public space in certain instances must now be regarded as acts of terrorism. We're talking here about indiscriminate shooting in a public place where the perpetrators endanger all and sundry. In order to address that, we believe that the legislation needs to be cognizant of what exactly we are experiencing now as against what the existing legislation anticipated. And to that end, the heads sourced and obtained the services of a former AG of Belize, Godfrey Smith, who has been tasked to review our legislative templates and to come up with new legislative proposals for consideration by the heads for changes to be made on the legislative side to treat with what we are experiencing as against what we are surprised by. We also expect that these acts, using the tools of trade of the criminals at large in our communities, from Bahamas to Suriname, St. Lucia to Trinidad and Tobago, that they be deemed to be acts of terrorism and allow us to view them not only by the executive, but by our judiciary, and allow us to fashion the appropriate legislation to deal with that. So we adopted the working definition of crime and violence as a public health issue, since the effect on human conditions are such that violent crime, largely carried out by firearms, 80% of which of the killings that we're experiencing are done by firearms, and 90% of those firearms are coming to us from one particular source. So we agree that this is a public health issue, and of course we will continue to engage it as such.
Dr. Keith Rowley there, following the conclusion of the heads meeting here in Barbados, talking about crime and security and using the terms acts of terrorism. Mm-hmm. We'd not heard that kind of language before. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
What he is signaling a sense of urgency that heads of government all across the community are feeling about the crime situation. You know, Barbadians have been disturbed by some fairly unprecedented criminal acts that we have seen in Barbados. But Barbadians need to be aware that it's not just Barbados. It is right across the region. And in fact, Barbados is perhaps one of the countries in which it is less prevalent. But they're really feeling the brunt of it in countries like, he mentioned a number of countries, including
the state of emergency,
Trinidad and Tobago. So there are two things. What the heads have signaled is that there are going to be two approaches. One, there's going to be an approach where we deal with crime as a public health issue, where we really look at all of the socio-economic, psychological, mental health aspects of it, and we try to get to those root causes. But also, they're signaling that in relation to these very dangerous criminals who are capable of just, as we saw with a gas station here in Barbados, just indiscriminately shooting up and so forth, that they're going to be taking a hard line. So they have retained a former Attorney General of Belize, Mr. Godfrey, former judge as well, and he will look at the drafting of new legislation to bring this hardline approach towards that element of criminals that are venturing into a realm of what could be considered terrorism. So you're gonna get a hardline approach towards them. But in addition, they have said that the heads, that is, have said that they're going to implement the Needham Points Declaration, which was a set of measures put together by the Caribbean Court of Justice. You know, the judiciary came together at Needham's Point in Barbados about a year and a half ago, and they came up with their own ideas as to how to respond to the crime situation. And then last year in Guyana, there was a meeting, there was a seminar, including heads of government and different experts, and they came up with the George Bridge Declaration. So at this heads of government meeting, a decision was made that all of our heads of government have embraced both the measures contained in the George Bridge Declaration and the measures contained in the Needham's Point Declaration, and they're going to be establishing, to put in place a high-level expert on criminal justice reform, and they're going to give that person a multidisciplinary team of experts to work with. So the idea is that all of the measures required to approach crime and violence as a public health issue, and all of the interventions required, they're going to roll out as a collective regional program. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the key issues that the heads addressed at this conference, and it was a key issue simply because this is one of the pressing, urgent issues that not just Barbados, but the entire Caribbean community has to deal with.
All right. Another one of those big meeting points, I think, was about food security. We know about the 25 by 25. We heard of an extension to 27 now.
2030.
2030, see?
Yes.
Even further down than I had first heard.
Yes.
But food security continues to be a part of the critical discussions by CARICOM to ensure that we can feed our people by ourselves. And so Dr. Irfan Ali, who leads that charge, the president of Guyana, he too made a comment following the heads of government meeting. Let's take a look at what he had to say about food security.
2024 would have seen major impact in the region as food prices for cereals, meat, dairy, vegetable oil, and raw sugar increased significantly on the global market. Of course, we import those increases, we import those inflation, and we have to manage within that context. However, 2025 is adding a lot of worry to the situation. The increased climate-related challenges, increased transportation and logistics costs, uncertainty in tariffs and rules, trade rules, would have a significant impact on the costs of food globally and here within our region. Just to give you an example, bird flu as we know it was first reported around March 2022. As I speak to you now, the current situation as a result of bird flu is alarming. There's a 20% decline in egg production from the US, and you would know that we source most of our hatching eggs out of the US. We source table eggs also. Many of the countries source table eggs out of the US. For a matter of fact, in some regions, when you look at the year-on-year increase in the cost of eggs since the first reported case of bird flu, it is 70% increase. When you look at egg prices as of January this year, in the US, there's a 15% increase in the prices of eggs. When you look at poultry meat, there is a 11% decline in production as I speak to you in the US. And as you know, the US occupy about close to 30% of global market share in terms of poultry meat. So we are discussing the impact of these challenges for the region, and important for us is to look at the full supply chain, to look at alternative supply routes, and to look at ways in which we can enhance and integrate our capacity and capability to withstand what could be a major shock in the global market.
Plainly there by Dr. Irfan Ali, President of Guyana, as he outlined for us where we stand literally as relates to food security and the challenges that are being faced by CARICOM. And as he was talking, I was asking what are the solutions, but he started then to hint at some of the possible solutions devised by CARICOM.
Well, you know, we could only play a short clip of what he said, but he did go on to point to the solutions that CARICOM is working on. But it's so, you know, we can't wish away difficult international realities. Those are the realities, those are the challenges that we have to face. What CARICOM has to do and what CARICOM is doing is organizing itself to respond in the best way possible to those challenges. And I would say, you know, to the credit of CARICOM and President Ali in particular, that the defense mechanism that we have set up in this area of agriculture and food security, I think is one of the best initiatives that CARICOM has ever taken. That is the 25 by 25. And to put it succinctly, what we have done, we have pulled all of our ministries of agriculture across the community, as well as our private sector, into a kind of food security network where they're working on increasing agricultural production, increasing the region's food security. And President Ali was able to report that between 2020, when we first started with the 25 by 25, and the end of October last year, we had in fact increased our regional food production by 24%, right? And he has put his own Guyana Ministry of Agriculture as a kind of secretariat of that regional project. And so he was able to report that a number of initiatives are actually on stream. For example, they're in the process of the development of a situation room and data center in Guyana that is, you know, looking at agriculture from a more scientific point of view and making sure that the data and the information to make decisions are all there. They're establishing a Center of Agricultural Excellence in Guyana, a regional food hub, and a new platform to deliver agricultural support services all across the region. So these are things that are already in train, that are part of that 25 by 25 project. But he also went on to make the point that in recent days, they have met with the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation in Agriculture, and they have developed 6 new projects that they'll be rolling out in cooperation with the Inter-American Institute. So just to make the point that the international challenges are there, we can't wish them away, but CARICOM has to organize itself to respond. And one of the areas that, as citizens of CARICOM, we can feel a sense of confidence is that we are organized to respond to the agriculture and food security challenge.
And so on that point, I have to leave it right there, Ambassador Commichon. But good reports coming out of the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting recently held in Barbados. And I, again, thank you for engaging us in our conversations on CARICOM. We'll
probably have to have a second bite at it because there's so much more to report on the outcomes of this meeting.
Absolutely. We'll take a break right here. We're coming back with more on Morning Barbados in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning.
CBC TV8, the home of championships, will be bringing live coverage of Gold Cup, NAPSAT and BSAT in the month of March. Packages are available for sponsorship now. Contact your CBC sales representative today or call 467-5559.
We enjoy a game with Domino's and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources. He'll give you the people. Not only will He equip you with ideas, but He will equip you with favor, as He did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
An hour of inspiration, celebration, soulful praise, and uplifting messages that will refresh your soul and fill your heart with joy. Q Gospel, Sunday at 4 p.m. on Quality 100.7 FM radio, bringing you closer to the music, the message, and the ministry.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We are 26 and a half minutes now to go to the hour of 7 o'clock. I shan't go any further without reminding you that the Alumni Week continues. Really, it's the Amalgamation Week at the Coleridge and Parry School continues today. There's going to be a cricket match at 12:30 lunchtime. That's 12:30 in your world. At 12:30 on the grounds of the Coleridge and Parry School is past versus present. Past versus present at cricket. Another one of those sports which we, who went to school at the Coleridge and Parry School, we absolutely loved and excelled in. So I want to encourage as many of you past students to be there on the grounds from 12:30 today for that match, cricket match, past versus present. Tomorrow, Wednesday, there's the Career Showcase Day. We're going to be there as well to share from our own perspective. And there's the basketball match at 3:30 on the school compound as well. So there's a lot happening. Thursday, don't miss the Fine Arts Fusion. Fine Arts Fusion brings together the schools of the North, the Frederick Smith Secondary, Darrell Jordan, the Allen School, the Alexandra School, and naturally the Coleridge and Parry School. And all of them are going to be having exhibitions of art throughout the school compound. And then in the evening, there's a bit of entertainment. So we want you to really to be a part of that in the North as well. And it's open to all of us to come and browse the art, engage with the art, and to celebrate as well. As this week, the Coleridge and Parry School marks Alumni Week, really the Amalgamation Week. We turn our attention now to one of those organizations that continues to impact many people from 40 years up. And so that means the majority of Barbadians could be or potentially are members of BARP. And so we're joined this morning by, of course, the president of BARP, Ms. Mornin Rice-Bowen. As always, good to see you.
Same here.
Thank you very much. And you've brought along with you Mr. Christopher Woodhams, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Beacon Insurance Company Limited. Good morning to you, sir, as well.
Good morning.
Talk to me a little bit about why Christopher is here.
It's really an exciting period for BARP because Beacon Insurance, Christopher is the CEO, they'll take over the role of lead insurer with our health insurance effective March 1st. One will remember that for the past 7 years, the lead insurer was Sagicor. And I must state here that throughout the period, the coverage, it was always been Sagicor, Beacon, and Trident. So it's just that the role of lead insurer has changed. Absolutely nothing else materially has changed. The role of the lead insurer has changed. So effective March 1st, we'll have a new lead insurer in Beacon. And we are very excited about this because any opportunity for us to add value to for our members, particularly with health coverage, and as we focus, of course, on our theme, which is Healthy Aging, Aging Strong. So it is indeed a pleasure to welcome Chris Williams to Barbados and to work now a lot closer with BARP as they assume the role of lead insurer.
What does that mean, Christopher, to be lead insurer, and what do you see the benefits to flow therefrom?
So it's a great opportunity for us. As Marilyn said, we've been part of the BARP health plan for 7 years now. But this opportunity to lead really puts Beacon in front of the BARP membership. You will now see Beacon paying, Beacon correspondence, Beacon taking the front in terms of ensuring effective communication. And most importantly, Beacon will be taking on the responsibility of working with BARP, Marilyn, and her executive in ensuring that her members get what they expect from an insurance company.
What does this plan mean, though, now that you're leading? What are some of the changes one can see or expect?
From an insurance plan perspective, the lead changing is not going to change the plan itself. What's really going to change is the interface between the plan and the membership, and the members that are on the plan. There will be some changes, obviously, as we evolve, but that won't be a Beacon-specific change, because as Marilyn said earlier, Sagicor and Trident remain partners on the plan as well.
So Mornin, from your perspective though, what does it mean for your membership?
Well, for the membership, as I said, they wouldn't feel it initially.
Right.
But it is, as I said, added value for them, and we are hoping that some more of the, particularly 40s, because the 40s, the plan is open to persons ages 40 to 59. So we're hoping that more of the 40 plus would take the opportunity to sign up for the health insurance as well, because no one knows when sickness will come. And it's a great opportunity to sign up and make sure that you have that added protection and that peace of mind, knowing that if indeed something goes wrong, that your family, they know that they can go ahead and get what necessary help is needed, So it is comfort, peace of mind. And of course, it helps to strengthen a family unit, because illness without dollars can wreck a whole family unit, because then they have to go to do GoFundMe and all that. But once you're a member of BARP, therefore you are a member of the health plan, that you wouldn't have to go the route of GoFundMe, because you have Beacon, Sagicor, and Trident, and they'll accompany you on your journey wherever it takes you, particularly in the area of health.
When the rain falls, Beacon opens its umbrella to support you, right? To cover you in all of this.
Lovely description.
Exactly.
and the more people in the plan, the more affordable it becomes, I suppose. Am I reading your insurance language correctly?
Yes, it's the law of large numbers. As we spread the risk and we get more people into the plan, yes, ultimately that will secure the plan and ensure its longevity.
Is there any... We all have different illnesses that we face. Some are more chronic than others. And so there's some insurers who will not insure some conditions. Are there any restrictions at all with this plan for any of our members of BARP?
I'm not aware of an insurance plan restricting as a whole conditions. What happens in some cases, if you have a pre-existing condition, when you come on the plan, that will be excluded.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have diabetes prior to joining, then diabetes unfortunately can't be included as cover.
I got you, and that's how it works. And your membership understands that, right, Marilyn?
Yes, and what will happen over the next few weeks is that, BARP places a very high value on communication. So over the next few weeks with our lead insurer, we'll have town hall meetings. They'll communicate with our members via email, via snail mail. Members could email us on info@barp.org or call at the office 538-2277. So there will be lots of communication going out to acquaint members with what's happening, and members for sure will not be left in the dark.
And that's important because while it is just a change of who takes the lead, there are people who become scared of change.
Yes.
Any kind of change puts a bit of fear in them, and so there are always the questions of what if, what about?
Yes.
And so I just want to be clear that there is that opportunity for clarity going forward, and you're saying to me that there will be forums where people can ask questions and get answers to all of that as well. I want to talk a little bit about Beacon's work in the Caribbean though. You do health. What other forms of insurance do you offer?
So Beacon Insurance, we've been a significant insurer in the English-speaking Caribbean for more than 50 years. I believe we've been in Barbados for most of that time. Our range of products actually extends between motor, casualty, property, marine, into health, group life, and some credit life, funeral indemnity benefits. So we are quite unique insurance company in the market because we do all these insurance products, long-term and short-term, within one brand.
And so when we connect with BARP, and BARP advises us to check Beacon out for sure, we know the partners that we're working with. And so what else does BARP have up its sleeve, Marlon, really, to surprise us who are members with?
I like the word surprise. Well, of course, this is in October, we will celebrate our 30th anniversary.
Congratulations.
And coming up in March, on March 31st, BARP will be on the road with our renewals. We're going to the...
I love that when you do that.
Yes, we're going to the south and the east this year. We're going to Oystons on the 31st. We'll get there around 10. We'll be there from 10 to about 11:30. Then we journey on to Emerald City, and we'll be there from about 1-ish to 3. So at those locations, we can accommodate renewals, new sign-ups, and of course persons who want to sign up for the health insurance as well.
Absolutely.
So BARP will be on the road March 31st, and of course I always like to use the opportunity to remind our BARP members about the BARP member legacy BARP member center, business center, where persons who have email addresses but don't have an access to a computer, once you're a financial member of BARP, you could come to the center and complete all your transactions, be it visa applications, passport applications, land tax, whatever. And very shortly, BARP will announce some training for those persons who just see a computer but don't even know anything about it. So we're going to be having some good programs coming up in another few months.
All right. And so I know people are watching and they have questions for you as well. And so if you can share with me now the question that came in from one of our online contributors, so we can talk to Marilyn a little bit about it. Miss Marilyn Ricebone, why is the age of BARP insurance cut off at 69? Can you answer that, or would that put you?
No, it's not a problem. I'll start and Chris will finish. I just want to, Miss Ben, good morning, and thank you so much for tuning in. The cutoff age for the health insurance is actually age 59 and not 69. And throughout the industry, the cutoff age is between 62 and 64, right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, 62 and 64. So, Chris, do you want to speak to it from a health perspective, an insurance perspective, why 60?
So just from my understanding, that's the joining cutoff age.
Yes.
But once you're in the plan, you can stay on the plan
until you die.
Yes. So that's very strong feature of the plan.
You can stay on the plan.
The important thing is to get on the plan when you're healthy, so you have no exclusions.
Yes.
And then you can stay on the plan until you die. So it's really, to Marilyn's point earlier, get on as soon as possible while you're healthy, and then you will have the best cover possible.
And that's an appeal to particularly some of you younger ones. You know, remember the membership starts at 40 now. They've reduced the age at which you can become a member, and membership is so easy. As I was listening to you talk, Marilyn, I kept thinking, you know, this is the one organization that offers so many benefits. When you think about it, there's no other organization that I can think of where membership is encouraged, where you get so many benefits, and I'm not talking about insurance.
It's true because you look at advocacy. We're always on the front line of advocacy. As a matter of fact, if you go through today's paper, you would recognize that when Flo came out with the e-billing, BARP presented some advocates. We said, hold it, Flo. So they did as instructed, and then we met, and we both agreed. So now what is going to happen is that persons who do not have email addresses, you know, I think about great-granny, great-aunt and those persons, they don't need to fear because they will get their bill by mail as usual. Those other persons then will get theirs via e-billing. So BARP continues to advocate for seniors and for members. And very shortly we will roll out a campaign on the LED disasters. We are on the front line of advocacy. We offer health clinics. In April again, we're going to have the health clinics which are run by Ross University. Those clinics are free to BARP members, and persons get full medicals, free of cost.
Christopher, let me tell you, if you walk into any place and you spend anything, just show them your BARP card, you get huge reductions immediately.
Especially today's Tuesday.
So I've heard one of the more popular ones is Wine World Tuesday.
So you know where you're going today, right?
That's right up my alley. So I know exactly where I want to go before I
just
close
a
up
question
today.
for you, Christopher. For anyone today watching who are already with another insurance company and just want to compare rates and talk to you guys, is it possible so that you can switch plans as well?
Absolutely, yes. I certainly recommend BARP members or people who are not members of BARP come into BARP and they will get a full explanation of how the health plan works. Beacon also has a motor plan as well for BARP members, which is very affordable, and we are very proud of that product because it's aligned to a lifestyle that a retiree would have now. So feel free to go into the BARP office and learn about all the offerings that we have.
Start with the BARP office, indeed.
Yes.
Marlon, we're out of time, but we've discussed so much. And remember, folks, Beacon now takes the lead for the health and medical plan with BARP. And while that just shifting of positioning, it also brings tremendous support and tremendous assurance that we know that Beacon Insurance has you covered indeed. And so that's through BARP, naturally. So if you're not yet a member of BARP, you're heading for 40, start opening your discussions, start thinking about it. As you hit 40, walk straight on your birthday, straight into the office at BARP there in Hastings area.
Hastings, Murphy Host, or they can go online at www.barpmember.org. So
BARPmember.org and sign up there as well. Pay your membership fee and you are good to go. Join the medical plan today, indeed. Thank you so much, Marilyn.
Always a pleasure.
Always. President of BARP, and Christopher Woodhams, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Beacon Insurance Company Limited. Thank you as well for coming in and joining with BARP to offer these benefits as well.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. We're going to take a break here on Morning Barbados. We do promise you to be back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
An hour of inspiration, celebration, soulful praise, and uplifting messages that will refresh your soul and fill your heart with joy. Q Gospel, Sunday at 4 p.m. on Quality 100.7 FM radio, bringing you closer to the music, the message, and the ministry. It's your Sunday moment of praise and purpose where faith meets music. Q Gospel, Sunday at 4 p.m. on Q 100.7 FM.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about solar ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We are 9 minutes now to go to the hour of 7 o'clock. I have a riddle for you. I have a riddle for you. And you know what to do, right? You shall call me on 228-5562 or 228-5563. Here's today's riddle. What can you hold in your right hand, but never in your left hand? What can you hold in this, your right hand, but never in your left hand? Gotcha good. Call me fast, fast, fast. 228-5562 or 228-5563 and talk to me. Tell me, what can you hold in your right hand but never in your left hand? I'm joined, by the way, by Desiree Grant, who's the curator of the exhibition that's on in the gallery. Desiree, do you think you have an answer for me?
Yes.
What can you hold in your right hand that you can never hold in your left hand? Say, I don't know.
I don't know.
See, that's easy. That's not the answer, by the way. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Her name is Desiree Grant. She's the curator of the exhibition that's on looking at reparations, CARICOM's 10-point plan thereof. It's in the Daphne Joseph Hackett, not the theatre, but in the gallery.
Queen's Park Gallery,
the Queen's
yes,
Park
please.
Gallery, indeed. And so it's on until the 1st of March. And while I wait on your call, let's talk a little bit about that. How is it going?
It's been going very well. The turnout has been beautiful. Everyone's been exposed to it, and it's what we need.
I can't imagine what it must have been for you to be able to curate something like this, though.
Yeah, like honestly, it was so. Being that this is my first curation job, it was like my hardest task. Being that I've just stepped into curation, I've been given a topic that has been, heavily on everybody's hearts. It's something that needs to be done. So the whole process for me was very humbling and very nice to learn and very well to adjust to. It's a good way of expression. So.
But then you had to, was it a case of picking and choosing, or because you had so many options and entries, or did you just accommodate everyone who entered?
Well, a bit of both. I accommodated because at the same time, the expression that comes through artistic elements, I wanted to make sure everybody had a chance to communicate and express their work. So I did pick a few pieces solely based on the theme, because we obviously have to go by the theme and make sure everything ties back together. But yeah, I allowed everybody, majority of the participants, to express themselves and actually take part in the exhibition.
This exhibition, though, is a conversation on reparations, a heavy subject.
A very heavy
and
subject.
so as one enters the exhibition space, the conversation begins.
Yeah.
And hopefully by the end of it, one has had a conclusion to that conversation, or at least something that continues the conversation.
Right, enlightenment.
And so laying it out must have been so interesting. How did you use space so you place things where the conversation really moves forward?
Right, so basically, usually when people enter an exhibition space, they usually step left. So on entry, what we basically did was have the pre-colonial elements and pieces that spoke towards life and tradition and heritage, and then eventually, gradually, spoke towards colonialism, enslavement, the feelings, the emotions towards it, and then we laid out towards the top end of the exhibition space more futuristic elements, healing elements, and enlightenment elements. So when you walk through the exhibition, you start where it's basically from historical to healing, and that's what we try to incorporate.
I like that, historical to healing.
Yeah.
But they're multimedia.
Yeah.
And so it's not just looking at the wall art alone. There are different ways that we can engage in the conversation. Talk to me about what one can experience other than the art that is visually posted on the wall.
Oh, well, for sure, we encourage people when they're there to speak. This is a conversation that is open for everybody to have. There are many things in the exhibition space where you can interact with, you can have a moment, personal reflection, you can learn something, so when we visit the...
Happening to be.
It's a bit cold, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. When we visit the space, as soon as the moment you get there, it's just, the conversation just begins. And that's what we wanted. We wanted to actually capture a space where everyone is actually able to express themselves and ask the questions that they need and be able to actually learn something and see what they want and like where things are moving towards with reparations, because obviously as artists we're not like governments and political like parties. We don't get to pen to paper.
Yes.
So the best way to express yourself is by paint, by mediums. So when you walk into the space, you have the opportunity to actually understand somebody else's perspective, and it could be a mutual perspective because a lot of the pieces reflect a lot of hurt and, like I said, a lot of healing, and a lot of pieces speak towards what we want to see in the future in our generation. So it's something you have to come and see. Like, I can't even put it into words. It's just like, it's a beautiful project. And when you see it, like, you'll understand. You'll just feel like you're at home. You belong. You know what I'm saying?
And there's one piece on our screen right there. You take a look, everybody. That's one of the conversations pieces right there. I think I'm seeing, I could interpret it in the way I want to interpret it, but I'll leave that to you to interpret as you see it. And so the expression, look at the tears running down the eyes of this particular piece right here. And these are things that you see, the hurt, the pain, the emotion, the roots that run deep but are all tangled and springing therefrom. You're nodding as if I'm interpreting correctly.
Yeah, you are. You are.
and so there are all of these pieces there. I'm told, and this is what I'll keep talking about, of a piece of art where when you shine the light on it.
Yes.
How did you find him?
Oh, that's Aaron Trotman. His artistic name is Sketch. Actually, I'm familiar with him because he does have a social media presence, and I've always admired his art. So when he actually entered and applied, I was just like immediately, yep, because his work it's not at first look. There's a lot underneath his work, and that's what I try to capture in all of the pieces. Always selecting pieces that, have a lot more underneath, not just surface value, because this is a conversation, it's not just surface value, there's a lot of depth to it. But with his art, it's amazing. It's graphite, and then you shine like a infrared blue, like a infrared light, I think it's what it is, and it reveals a lot of details underneath, and it's just amazing to look at. It's just something you have to see.
If for no other reason, that's one of the reasons to go. But tomorrow you're having the artists in the spotlight.
Yep.
And I can't wait to see how that unfolds as well, because it's an opportunity for all of us as we visit the exhibition to be able to engage in conversation with them. Not just as we watch what's happening, but we get a chance to ask questions, they get to explain some of their perspectives, and to also bring to the fore their feelings about reparations. That's what it's truly about. And so this opportunity tomorrow in the gallery starts at what time?
7 p.m.
7 o'clock.
Yep.
Are you going to be a part of that?
Of
Can
course.
we ask you questions as well then?
Of course. That's what I'm here for.
Are you expecting all of the artists who are on the exhibition to be there as part of it?
Well, some have reached out and let us know that they will be unable to attend, but majority of the artists will be there, and they will be obviously representing their pieces, their expressions, their feelings, and just be, in the conversation that, needs to be had towards reparations.
You don't have to be an artist to be there.
No.
You just have to be a human being.
Yeah.
You just have to have a conscience to say, I know and I feel something about reparations. I want to see now how this other artist interprets it and see if it connects.
Right.
And right away, the conversation starts because there's a connection. And so anyone of any age and any stage can come to the exhibition. It's absolutely free. Opens every day from 10, right?
10 till 6, yes, please.
10 to 6. We don't have a lot of time. We have 8 hours. 10 to 6 every day, running until the 1st of March, which is this weekend.
Yes.
It closes this weekend.
Unfortunately, but luckily, we do have the Artiverse, which is an online gallery, which will be shown in April. So if you do miss the opportunity, which I advise you not to see these pieces in person, you'll be able to see it online.
Fantastic. That's good to know. Thank you so very much, Desiree.
Thank you.
You've been fantastic. She's the curator, Desiree Grant. She's the curator of this exhibition ongoing in the Queen's Park Gallery every day until this weekend. And we want to encourage all of you, take the children along, take the youngsters along, let them begin the journey of learning of their past, learning about the feelings of their past so that they can make a big difference to their future as well. Thank you, Desiree.
Thank you.
You're welcome indeed. All right, we have a call, I believe, who can answer my question, which is, what can you hold in your right hand, but never in your left hand? Good morning. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Pearson.
Gregory, how are you?
I already know the answer. He called to talk to you, man.
You want to talk to me and say what?
I did a poem for you for your birthday on Derry. And then I hardly get to talk to you now. We are so much a TV star, and you know. And,
It's just little me. It's a big constellation. I'm just a little oomph of it. But Gregory, thanks. You know, maybe another time you can call me off the air. We can share that poem, okay? You know where to find me, Gregory. Thank you so very much indeed. The question remains, that is the question, what can you hold in your right hand but never in your left hand? Desiree is waiting to hear the answer as well, so hurry up. Hurry up and call and give her the answer. Morning Barbados, it's a break right here. We're coming back. Morning Barbados, it's a break right here. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solaray microbiome probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
2 minutes after the hour now, let's take a look at news, shall we? An air bridge between the Congolese Republic and Barbados is coming. It's part of efforts to deepen ties between the two nations. Word of this from Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, Senator Chad Blackman, at the start of an official visit by the Trade and Investment Mission from Togo. And at a media briefing at his office in Warrens, he said it comes on the heels of a similar visit by a Barbados mission to Togo last year. Trevor Thorpe reports.
The air bridge will unlock partnerships for investment and trade, as well as cooperation and technical support. And according to Minister Blackman, diplomatic relations have already been established between Togo and Barbados, and visa requirements for the citizens of the two countries have been removed.
The purpose of it also this week is to really explore how can we now build out, particularly for our business sector in Barbados, what are some of the opportunities that Togo can present for our business sector. And by business sector, I don't only just mean the traditional aspect of business, where we mean the established companies, large. Also, our young entrepreneurs must see this as an opportunity for them to be able to tap into the fast-growing economy that is Togo.
Minister Blackman says a number of initiatives will be realized from this visit from Togo, which has a population of just over 9 million.
This mission this week, as I said, started last year when we went there, but it really is a culmination of a 2-year dialogue, manifesting last year and now coming here, for us to now build out the relationship between West Africa. Of course, with Togo, we have the relationships with Ghana and Nigeria and many others, but using Barbados as that hub for Africa into the Caribbean, and equally also using Lomé and Togo as a hub for Barbados and the Caribbean into Africa.
Head of the Togolese delegation, Mayor Okote Adambunu, speaking through an interpreter, said air transport, commerce and trade ranks high on their agenda.
Togo is a strategically placed country for West Africa, a country, which has a port, a deep water harbor, which means that a lot of products pass through our country in order to go to the countries in the Sahel area. I mean, they also, in order to develop commerce, international business between Barbados and Togo, it's like the development of international commerce between Africa and the Caribbean.
The public sector-private sector trade mission from the Togolese Republic will end on Thursday. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Government is set to increase the Transport Board's electric bus fleet by another 30 buses within the next 3 months. That was disclosed by Deputy Prime Minister Cynthia Bradshaw. She says these buses will be added to the 59 buses already on island. Additionally, they have been directed by the Prime Minister Mayor Amar Motley to prepare the necessary paper and explore having another 31 buses brought into the island to supplement the fleet. She says if all goes well, those buses will be here by the end of the financial year.
Within the last few months, Prime Minister Motley would have visited China, entered into certain discussions with the People's Republic of China, and a donation of 30 buses was approved by the government to be able to donate to Barbados. Just last week, the team was alerted that the specifications of those buses, the technical requirements had been met. The buses have already been produced. They are at a factory in China, being able to be ready to be shipped to Barbados. We expect that those 30 buses will perhaps leave in early March, and the expected arrival is sometime in May.
Ms. Bradshaw admits there have been challenges with the upkeep of the buses. However, she says BYD has been working to set up a service bay here to deal with the maintenance.
Instead of the parts coming directly from China alone, we now have an operation in Panama where those parts are able to be supplied to Barbados to be able to quickly repair the buses. And they have been doing a lot of transfer of knowledge from their team to the local team as well. And of course, we've had a number of people at the SJPI, Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology, also being trained up to be able to enter the workforce to be able to help us to continue to maintain the buses.
Ms. Bradshaw also called on Barbadians to stop dumping indiscriminately into the island's drains. She says flooding is not a problem for the Ministry of Transport and Works alone, but it is as a result of individual householders disposing of garbage, in particular plastics, in an inappropriate way. She says there has been to be a systematic approach to drainage problems and drainage improvements, as what happens upstream has an effect on what occurs downstream. And she notes studies will now be conducted to plan the drainage infrastructure going forward.
You will find many times when our drainage teams clear the drains that you find that we are discovering a lot of debris, a lot of clothes, a lot of plastics, a lot of things that ordinarily ought not to be within the drainage system. And I would want to certainly urge not only urge the general public really to pay attention to these things, because in many cases what you do in terms of the habits as well has a direct impact on the calls that I certainly receive from individual representatives and complaints from the public complaining about the drainage infrastructure.
There's an ongoing issue with overbreeding of dogs in Barbados, and animal control officers are urging dog owners to have their dogs spayed and neutered to avoid the issue. Rachel Agard has more.
Spaying and neutering is one of the first things a person should consider when they decide to become a dog owner. It's the advice of Animal Control Officer Alison Cadell.
By the time they get puppies, that's why they get strays, because the dogs get pups and then they can no longer take care of them for whatever reason or reasons, and then they let them go. That's how they become strays. Or sometimes dogs do get away, but that's minimal. And sometimes how dogs can get away from what we have observed during our investigations are on the palings or on the fence that doesn't have cement base and so on, or the fence or galvanized is too short so they jump over.
Ms. Cadell says officials believed the stray dog population on island was reducing, but the calls have increased in recent times. She says most shelters on island are full to capacity.
So having those straying dogs really creates a problem for us and the public in general. And because they can bite persons, they don't spread diseases and stuff like that in Barbados thus far, thank God. But it becomes a problem by pulling people's garbage out or going and confuse somebody livestock or even bite them up and so on. So that's where some of the problems lies as it relates to stray dogs. It's really a concern for us. We rather persons call us to collect the dogs, but of course we have to manage everything. So you call us, we schedule that collection and call you the next day to find out if it's okay, you still want your dog to be collected. And if the answer is yes, we'll come and collect that. Or you can call and say you can bring your dog in, but we schedule that as well.
Ms. Cattle warns it is an offense to have dogs running in public off leash, and an owner can be charged for the infringement. She urges that dogs and their surroundings are checked daily.
Failing that, if the dog gets away now, it becomes a problem, a menace to society, and therefore it involves us. And because we're a small operation with 7 kennels to manage the entire island, it puts a lot of pressure and expectation on us. And then people say Animal Control Center not working, not coming to pick my dog up. But the onus really lies on the owner of the dog. That's their responsibility. So I would say that persons do need to check on their dogs. I know that persons work and so on, but before they go to work or when they come back home, make sure all is well, because if they have their dog on a leash, not a chain, on a leash, that's one of the ways they can easily get away. But then there's a caption on the chain that comes loose over time with the tugging and the pulling. So it's best to check on your dog.
According to Ms. Cadell, some of the dogs trapped are collected by their owners or rehomed, but that in itself is a slow process. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Thanks, Rachel. Don't forget, we have a question out for you to answer. The question is, what can you hold in your right hand, but never in your left hand? What can you hold in your right hand, but never in your left hand? 228-5562 or 228-5563. I want to hear your answers after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
13 past the hour now. Do you have an answer for me? The question remains, what can you hold in your right hand but never in your left hand? 228-5562 or 228-5563. I believe we have a call on the air. Good morning. Hello.
Yeah, you know, I don't give up, Pearson.
You're very persistent, Gregory. So what's your answer?
That would be your wrist. That would be your left wrist, Pearson.
You can't hold your left wrist in your left hand?
No.
And that's your answer?
Yeah.
You can hold your wrist in your right hand, yeah. But that's not the answer I'm looking for, Gregory, man. It's logical, but that's not the answer I'm looking for.
That's not the answer?
That's not the answer I have written over here.
Well, I don't know.
You want to stick with that? You know what?
I stick to that.
I think I should give it to you simply because you're on the right trajectory, as is Billy Scant, who messaged me a little later on. The answer is your left hand. You cannot hold your left hand with your left hand. So it's ideally the same thing. You can't hold your left wrist with your left hand. You can't hold your left elbow with your left hand. All right, Gregory. All right. Thanks for being persistent, okay?
Keep the good work up here.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it so much. I'll ask another one, don't you worry. 14 and a half minutes now after 7 o'clock as we turn our attention to those who were excelling in spoken word. And they have a capacity to be able to cause us to pause and think. Because it's not just pouring out of their head alone, but they're pouring into our heads as well and into our hearts. And so poetry, which is marking its first anniversary, held recently an opportunity really to say thank you to those who have been a part of their organization and also to recognize them for their outstanding contributions as well. And so 2 of those awardees are with me today in Jeremiah, the prophet. That word. Indeed. Good to have you, Jeremiah. You got the most consistent award.
I did.
Right? Congratulations to you. I'll come back to that story in a minute. And across from him is Timon Howard. He got the most improved award. Am I right, Timon? Welcome.
Correct.
Well done, both of you. So, Mr. Tousssaint, talk to me a little bit about what it means for you to receive the award as the most consistent award.
Honestly, it caught me off guard because I feel like everybody in the poetry family has been giving it their all from since we start up to now, and everybody has been just doing their best to rise and to make this revolution possible.
You say it as a revolution? Why?
I do. Because spoken word, of course, as an art form is, in my opinion, or from what I can see, a niche. But from what Poetry Barbados has been doing in the 1 year that it's been alive, it has brought that particular skill to a level in the nation where I feel like people are respecting it on the level as they would a musician or they would a theater artist. You know, it's becoming that, and that revolution because of the message that we bring forth and the people and the voices that are given a platform to speak. That's why I call it a revolution.
From where do you normally speak? From experience, observation, what you read? From where do you write and speak?
Me personally?
You, yeah. You're the prophet.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to speak from my own experiences and what I'm led to by the Spirit. Whether you want to believe that it is the God, our Father, Christ, or if you believe that it is another celestial body giving you the inspiration, as long as you write from the heart and from the Spirit that compels you to write, then that's where it comes from, and that's where truth comes from.
Some people feel that spoken word is angry. What do you say?
It can be, and why not?
You tell me.
No, I mean, spoken word is everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't be angry, if you can't be happy, if you can't be sad, if you can't be ecstatic, then why do anything? It's a form of expression. It's where you let your true self be seen and heard. So, yeah.
So no doubt you won the consistent award. Timon, what about you? I mean, how long have you been doing spoken word now?
In terms of on the level that I'm doing it now, and thank you, good morning Barbados. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. In
terms of doing it on the level that I'm doing it now, I would say roughly about 2 years now going on.
Mm-hmm.
Going on 2 years, like one and some, not even a full 2 years. And that would have been sparked or initiated, catalyzed, I would say, markedly by my performance with two other spoken word artists at Emancipation Day celebration in 2023. And that was a group piece there that we wrote for Emancipation Day. And that would have started the snowball rolling in terms of actually then going to other gigs, getting more into the poetry space, developing the craft a bit more, spending more time on it. And it shows in terms of the improvement that was recognized.
So I'm glad you went there because I wanted to find out why do you think, recognized as most improved? So have you yourself seen this improvement that they recognized you for?
Definitely. In terms of stage presence, in terms of content, delivery, in terms of crafting the piece, in terms of feeling the energy of the audience and responding to it, in terms of just being more committed to the art form. And the growth has been seen, the pieces have been better. I told Adrian, who's my mentor in spoken word, just the other day at the poetry, that was my best performance of the piece that I had done. And then I went to him with at a school just yesterday, and I performed the piece for them. And I feel like I pushed more, you know, and
So
that
became the best.
that felt like the best to me.
Yes.
And even though that one wasn't as fluent, because, you know, having gone through the night before and then not necessarily being in the mindset, having been prepared for this moment, because it was kind of a last minute tag along. I still felt like that push, you know, seeing all those poets perform, especially and in particular DJ Simmons, getting to see him perform live, Winston Farrell, getting to see him perform live, you know, and that's not to discount any of the others that perform, but being able to see those two figures perform was something that made me push even more with the youth in the school. And I think that's kind of, to what Jeremiah is saying, what poetry does as well. It also creates that network, that community of poets. And to borrow a phrase, which is also a name of an open mic and poetry show that was back around in the day with the same DJ Simmons and Adrian Green, iron sharpens iron.
Correct.
So the more persons you have in that community that are like-minded and focused on developing the craft, developing the depth, the respect for the art form of oration in the nation, you know, the better we all be.
I keep wondering if you're not in such an emotional space that every time you do the same piece, you have to fight. Let me explain this differently. There's a lady called Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Whitney Houston had a skill where wherever she went, she interpreted her song based upon where she is and based upon what she felt for that audience at the same time. So it's never the same performance each time, but it was always outstanding each time because it connected immediately with the audience. Is that also the same for a spoken word artist?
It is a similar thing. And, well, I suppose that's an approach. That's an approach that can be taken. And some persons would choose not to take that approach.
And which one do you take?
I have come to
approach?
appreciate that approach in terms of
adapting
adapting to the audience. But then Adrian says this too, like he never has performed the same piece twice.
Same way.
Yeah, like you would do the same piece, the same words maybe, you know, but it's always different because you got a different audience.
Right.
And the audience themselves are a part of performance. Even in something like Jeremiah mentioned, theater. The audience is a part of it. And I'm also a part of a company called Lego Theatre Company. And in learning more and being more observed of like how we approach theatre, you know, the Western approach to theatre in terms of the stage is there, the characters are there, the actors are there, and then the audience is there and the audience sits and watches, you know, but more in terms of culturally
into it.
Exactly, breaking that fourth wall, engaging the audience, call and response, things that are more natural to us as Africans. Is a similar thing then when you get into the energy of oration, if you embrace that culture with your performance.
You have the same response, Prophet, that every time you perform it slightly differently depending on how you feel or what the audience is feeling at that point?
Yeah, of course.
Does that trip you up? Because I mean, you rehearse it in a particular way. I'm going to hit these words in this way and be as impactful as I want to be when it comes to this particular phrase. And then you have a placid audience.
Well, then,
how do you now take that and make it as impactful as you would want it to be?
But then, like, that to me feels like you're putting yourself before the piece. Because the words carry meaning. And the meaning may be different for everybody inside the room. If you go out there and you stand up in front of that mic and you feel a certain energy and you start to speak those words and those words don't come alive, then you're putting yourself before the piece, because the piece is what's most important.
The message here
exactly
is what's more important. I just like the way you said it. And you're quite right. Don't put yourself before the piece. It's the piece, the actual message that's you're just a conduit to its delivery. And so that's what you do. How long have you been doing this now? Since a little boy?
No, not a little boy. Maybe when I started doing it like as a means of like people coming to me for it when I was 17. I'm 25 now, so that would be
8 years.
Yeah.
So is it that do you write your pieces, or do you read other people's pieces?
I write my pieces.
Same thing for you, Timon?
Correct.
And that's important, that you do your own, you speak in your own voice, you write your own pieces.
I wouldn't say that I have anything against, whether it be paying tribute or homage to a piece from someone that has already spoken to a particular topic, I have in presentations, not necessarily in performance, but in presentations taken from poets, authors, the same way you would quote a line from a book, persons have valuable things to say, and if it is that you value what it is that they have said and it's applicable to the situation, you can easily, just take that contribution and just pay reference and credit to them.
The Prophet calls this a revolution. He's a part of a revolution. Do you see yourself also being a part of the revolution, pushing for greater acceptance of spoken word?
The word revolution is interesting because
I thought so too.
when you think of, for example, if you can see this on camera,
yeah, they know you're holding a ring,
circle,
yes,
right? If you think of a wheel with spokes, it goes around and it goes around and it goes around, and
then it goes forward.
Yes, and it does go forward. That's clever. Then when you think of waves, even those also have oscillations. When you have them going up in one sector, down in the next, down in one sector, up in the next, and it's a similar thing in terms of oscillations, revolutions, cyclical things. Cyclical things, circles, waves, up, down, around.
But
things happen in stages.
But the cycle of time over time makes it all look smooth. If you sit by the beach and you look far out into the ocean, it looks like just one placid piece of water. But if you go closer to it, then you realize there are actually movements happening there, little waves and turbulence. But it looks smooth to the naked eye. But you're saying underneath all of that, there's action. And so as we move towards acceptance of poetry, you guys are working in the engine room to make it happen. Am I interpreting you right?
Oh, I thought that was your. I thought you were giving your opinion. I was listening to you.
But I'm also listening to you.
That's good.
You can write that down.
And what I wanted to note though in the aspect of those revolutions, and it depends on how close you look.
Yes.
Based on what you were saying. That's something that stood out to me. But then also being able to identify those peaks and valleys. And I think that what poetry is, and Jeremiah talked about breaking barriers and giving respect to the art form. There are many who have come before us who have done that, who've broken those barriers. And, there have been times where it has died down or it has seemed like a regression. So this is just the start of a new wave,
right?
Which hopefully will pave the way and lay the foundation that then the further ones that come after us will be able to then build on and build on and build on. And hopefully, we don't, with each revolution, as you say, with the wheels, we go forward, and we don't necessarily dip too far.
You're walking through my mind because I know he's 25, Jeremiah is 25. How old are you?
20.
You're 20. And you talked about the generation and being able to move it forward generation on generation, and now you're just playing your part in that movement forward. And so knowing how young you are, what do you think your future in this is, Prophet?
Honestly,
you're the prophet, you ought to see further than me.
That's a good question.
You want to think about it a little bit?
Yeah, give me a bit.
Okay, not a problem. Timon, what about you? What do you see your future to be in this kind of art form?
Funny enough, as much as you would make note of the youth, and I'm sure you could relate, and I was told the other day.
No answer, proceed, sir.
It was noted to me the other day, that you don't have that much time.
True.
The years do fly by. And the youth does not stay forever, And so in that aspect, just trying to do as much as I can now in the moment and continue to do that, you know, whether that's performing, whether that's passing on the knowledge I have of performance, of everything else that performance brings and adds to you as a person, to other people, you know, whether that be workshops, whether that be, you know, and as a spoken word artist, I don't just necessarily perform poetry pieces, because I also do work with the Heart and Stroke Foundation, going into the schools, their school nutrition tour, also do other forms of advocacy, also speak otherwise. So developing in that craft touches other areas. I also told you I'm a part of Lego Theatre Company, you know, so being able to employ the tools is not just the aspect of performance, but it's also the aspect of national development.
Indeed, indeed. Ready for me, Prophet?
I am.
Let's hear you now.
I was gonna say it's interesting because the reason that I do this is because I enjoy it so much, and I love writing. I love writing, I love performing, I love being in front of a mic and my voice being able to move people to feel something. And my answer to your question would be that as long as there are words for me to write, then I want to write them. As long as there are stages for me to perform on, then I want to perform on them. I don't know what it means for me. I know that it is something that I enjoy and I want to enjoy for as long as I can.
There's a lot of honesty in that answer. Did you hear it, Timon? It came from a place of truth, and I appreciate that. And that's what it's about. So you connected with me at that particular point. Well done indeed. But gentlemen, I commend you on your outstanding recognitions indeed as the most consistent and the most improved at poetry indeed. Timon brought his. Where's yours?
I forgot it.
He whispers it. He forgot it indeed. Poetry Barbados Most Improved Award presented to Timon Howard, 23rd of February 2025 indeed. Yeah, it's on the screen. We just picked it up right there. And there you are. And our girl Lashana presenting you guys, and well done indeed. I know she's worked hard. They've worked really, and there you are as well, poet, you know. Well done indeed. I want to thank you both, gentlemen, young men, not even a quarter century good, and they're already making quite an impact on how we view life and how we feel life and how we see life. And thank you for your service, as the Americans would say, because you're making a difference in the revolution for acceptance and appreciation for the craft as well. Thank you both. All right?
Yeah, man.
Good. All right, shall we take a break? We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
An hour of inspiration, celebration, soulful praise, and uplifting messages that will refresh your soul and fill your heart with joy. Q Gospel, Sunday at 4 p.m. on Quality 100.7 FM radio, bringing you closer to the music, the message, and the ministry. It's your Sunday moment of praise and purpose, where faith meets music. Q Gospel, Sunday at 4 p.m. on Q 100.7 FM.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray microbiome probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons which will surprise many is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, Human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end. And what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scold, a look into the future.
CBC TV 8, the home of championships, will be bringing live coverage of Gold Cup, NAPSAT and BSAT in the month.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
24 minutes now to go to 8 o'clock. If I said to you, the Memory Cafe Barbados, do you know where to go? Do you know what that's about? Do you know how to... What's on the menu? I'm sure you're asking yourself that as well. Well, it's a little bit different from what you're possibly thinking right now. So we get the answers as to what is the Memory Cafe Barbados and what they are about. I'm joined this morning by 2 social workers and 2 students and interns of social work as well. Firstly, let me introduce you to Tahira Tatum. Good morning to you, Tahira.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Having me here.
And you're next to the young man, Jakeem Seeley. And we were teasing you, Jakeem, because I said, when I heard Jakeem, I'm looking for someone, you know, a different, younger name. So talk to me a little bit. Well, you told me there's a story to that.
Well, my name wasn't always Jakeem.
What was it?
I changed my name in 1996 at the age of 23. My name was formerly Junior. But when I got saved, when I became a Christian at age 19, I believe, and I'm convinced rather, that the Lord wanted me to change my name. You know, Abraham changed his name from Abraham to Abraham.
Yes.
So my name was changed from Junior to Jakeem. And Jakeem means exalted and uplifted. And from the time I changed my name, God was exalting me and uplifting me wherever I go, and whatever I do, I was being promoted left, right, and center.
That's
so
a
that's
lovely
the history
story.
behind my
That's a beautiful story.
Okay.
So, if I had to change my name, what would you call me? So I benefit in the way that you have benefited.
You never know, there's power in names.
I know there is. So I believe Pearson is extremely powerful, right?
Yeah.
Good man. Chantel Boyce is sitting across from me. She's one of the interns, a student intern. And next there is Sarah Holder. So welcome to all of you. What on heaven's earth is Memory Cafe Barbados?
Well, Memory Cafe Barbados actually started in the Netherlands in 1997, but then through our instructor, Miss Therese James, she's the coordinator for the University of West Indies Field Social Work Program. So she's the one that brought the idea to us when we were interns. So when she brought the idea to us, then we had to go and do the research, and we found that in doing the research, we found that having social support for persons living with memory loss or dementia or Alzheimer's is very important to help with their cognitive development. And so that's how the Memory Cafe started.
You know, I think of Friends, that American sitcom Friends, and they would hang out at the cafe, everybody just lounging around, having a good time. But that was for them, their salve, the place they go to just relax and kind of refresh almost. Is that the same idea here, Jackie?
Well,
of sorts?
Of sorts, in terms of persons with memory loss coming to a place where they can receive support. Memory Cafe Barbados is not just for persons with memory loss, it's primarily for the caregivers. So we seek to support caregivers, create a space where they can freely share their concerns, because caring for someone with memory loss is extremely challenging. And my part in the cafe, I did a lot of research on dementia. And I don't know if you know, Pearson, every 3 seconds, someone across the world is diagnosed with dementia.
Oh dear.
And
My 3
so
seconds are just around the corner.
There's actually a crisis of dementia across the world.
And in Barbados.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because the World Health Organization and PAHO, they would have said that 50% of dementia cases in Barbados are modifiable. So we have a perfect storm in Barbados. We have a lot of non-communicable diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, and all of these are modifiable risk factors for dementia. So the Memory Cafe, we dealt with all of those issues. Again, my role, me and my colleague here, Chihira, we created a support group for caregivers of persons with dementia, the first in Barbados, and we also created an educational group where we had persons from far as UK who were part of we would normally have sessions on Zoom Sunday afternoons once a month, and it's an ongoing group. And our role is to facilitate and to provide education so that all Barbadians would know that dementia is a serious problem that we must tackle.
You just mentioned me. When you mentioned some of those conditions that could be precursors to dementia, but it's also in some instances hereditary. So that's what. But you almost mentioned for me as well some of the items on the menu when we come to the cafe. I'm deliberately doing that way so that people connect with what you're doing here. It's a place, a space where carers of those with memory loss, which is dementia, Alzheimer's, and a whole host of other conditions, can come together to reconnect, not just but to build up each other as well. And so, Miss Chantal, talk to me a little bit, because you're a student intern as well of social work. What is it that motivates you to be a part of social work, first of all, and to manage these kinds of situations where people have memory loss and the like?
Well, for me, I was drawn to social work because I wanted to help people. Now, in going through the training, I recognize it's far more than that, you know? And then being a part of the Memory Cafe Barbados, it has taught me that it's important, you know, to understand your clientele, understand the people that you're working with, and actually enjoy it. So this project so far for me has been a great experience.
What about you, Sarah?
Well, for me, the reason that I first registered for social work is because I also wanted to help people, but like Chantal, going through the process, I realized that is much more than that, and I have come now to appreciate how instrumental a social worker is in helping someone transition through their life. So it's not necessarily that we're forcing you, it's that we're helping you get through those stages in life. For the Memory Cafe, what stood out to me personally, I am accustomed working with youth, so it was a big shock with working with older persons and the elderly. I had to adapt a lot. So it brought out a lot of skills in me, and it helped me to appreciate the later stages of life more, and it taught me the value in aging.
There's a beautiful thing in aging. You're absolutely right. But we tend to see, and we think it's an annoyance when there's memory loss. And so it's like, you're one, I have to change you're making it's very inconvenient for me. And it shouldn't really be. And so there's a whole relook at memory loss in Barbados, and I'm appreciative of the fact that you do have the Memory Cafe Barbados now, where people who are carers of those people can come together to be boosted at the Memory Cafe. And so let's talk a little bit about the challenges that those people have when they have to care for those with memory loss. What are they saying to you?
Well, in doing our research, we found that persons are very tired. They have the burden. It's like they have a burden. Well, it's not really a burden, but for them, because they're taking care of it, taking care of their loved ones so much, it's like they can't do the activities that they would normally do as an individual. So it's like they have to plan really in order to do stuff for themselves. So having them is like they don't have that space to just be an individual, and so Memory Cafe brings that kind of like sense of reprieve and social aspect for them to be themselves, and to also like just give them that space to just enjoy.
Your life changes as well as that person with memory loss, but your emotions also, because you're also, Jackie, on an emotional journey that is different from what you saw yourself living out in your parents' later years as well. Talk to me a little bit about what the stressors that occurred there.
Well, as my colleague Tahir would have mentioned, there's something called caregiver burnout, which affects caregivers psychologically. And actually, a lot of research have shown that caring for someone with dementia is the most difficult caregiving job across the world. And quite recently, actually on Sunday, I met someone who was also caring for someone with dementia. And I was able to encourage that person. I was able to tell her, because mostly females, I was able to tell her, please care for yourself. Please ensure that you are taking your vitamins, that you are eating well, that you're exercising. Because if you're not careful, you could find that you could
get sick,
end up getting sick even before the person who has dementia. So it's a tremendous emotional turmoil for caregivers. And the Memory Cafe Barbados, as it relates to the support group, created that space where caregivers could come and share freely. In one particular session, we had a session where a caregiver, she would have lost her sister that same afternoon when we were having the session. And we were able to provide the support, we were able to pray for her, encourage her. So Memory Cafe Barbados, especially as it relates to the caregiver component, we provided that space. And mind you, Pearson, this cafe and this caregiver aspect is still ongoing in 2025. We began in 2023, but we are still ongoing. So it's an ongoing project.
Right, I like it. And so as a caregiver, you don't think of it as the professional alone. It's also the relative. Because a lot of times we make the sacrifice to say, you know what, that's my mother. I'm not putting her in a home. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to stay home myself, make the sacrifice, and that sacrifice could be emotional, financial, time, all of those. I know because I'm talking from experience here. And so it's all of those, but you live in a space of guilt sometimes, Sarah, when you have to make those tough decisions to institutionalize, because it really is for your better and for that relative's better as well, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. Having gone through the process of caregiving, this is before I even got to the aspect of social work where I knew about caregiver burnout. I was actually experiencing caregiver burnout, and I understand the guilt that you were talking about, and it's something that I had to unpack through the social work program. And that's why I think the social work program is so powerful, because we just don't only go into class and sit down. There are internal things in us that we have to unpack. So as a doctor could prescribe you the wrong medication, we have to fix ourselves first before we go out there and try to help people. So that's something that through the program I was able to unpack after having to caregive for my grandfather and living with the guilt, not necessarily of institutionalizing him, but the thoughts that I had in my mind. I realized it was as an effect of the burnout that I was experiencing, and that was normal.
Before you know it, you kept thinking, but y'all are holding me back. I could have been, I could have done those kinds of things, and now I'm stuck with this. Heaven knows until for how long. And those are situations in your conscience, Chanel, that you have to manage as well. And so when one comes to the Memory Cafe, how does it work? You come in, you just sit around and hope that somebody talks to you?
Well, for the Memory Cafe, everybody that comes, they don't want to leave.
Really?
You know, it's something like a party. You come, you actually get to interact with everybody. You participate in activities, maybe have some refreshments. Last session we had some karaoke. Right.
No name called, right?
And we did some craft, some beautiful craft. You know, we always have a good time.
That's great. But it's also about, go ahead.
I went to say that the beautiful thing about our cafe is that we wanted to bring in the element of intergenerational connections. So Chantal and myself, we have worked on bringing in volunteers, student volunteers, whether that's from UE. We have volunteers the last Saturday as young as 10 years old. Wow. So you have that connection where you get to share stories. So is the elderly sharing their stories and the younger generation sharing theirs. So it creates an atmosphere that is, it's like a party.
But you learn coping strategies because, you know, in sharing, as Sarah just said, you know, in all of that, I'm also learning how you dealt with your situation. I did not know about the sundown effect. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Until I saw it played out. And I'm thinking, what happened here? Wait, hold on. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And then you learn from it because I heard other people talking about it, and you did research and you saw, oh yeah, that's really what happened. So instead of acting in ignorance, come to the Memory Cafe Barbados and learn a whole lot more in a very safe, fun environment that makes you feel so relieved to know that there are other people like yourself. But there are other people who've met success, who have stories to share that can help you as well. Is it a physical space that we go into for the Memory Cafe?
Oh, let's Sarah.
Sarah, you're talking today, girl. Talk to me. Is it a physical space?
Yeah, so the Memory Cafe is a physical space. We are located in the Warren's office complex, and we have our sessions once a month, and that is usually...
Can you stop for a second?
Yeah,
I keep hearing Warren's office complex. I don't know where that is.
I am a Bajan who's horrible at giving directions,
is it
but
near
it's
to
in the
what?
Warren's area.
Near to which building?
Near to Dormal.
Oh, in that complex. So where the labor offices and so
Yes,
right there.
please.
What we call the Barak building, folks. I'm saying that deliberately so that people know exactly where we're talking about. So you call it the Barak building so
Right.
people get it right away. That's where you
Right.
are. Okay, go ahead.
Cool. Yeah. My directions are off.
That's okay.
Right.
Yeah,
so
opposite
we have
the Massey
our
supermarket.
Correct. Yes. We have our sessions every last Saturday of the month. So persons can visit our Facebook or Instagram page, and they could send us a message, or there's a link tree that they could register. They could call myself or Chantal. She'll have to do her number. But my number is 822-2177.
822-2177. 822-217. I'm saying it more than once so people connect it. 822-2177. That's the number for Sarah.
So that they could sign up for the cafe, to join the cafe. You get updates every month. Because it is a charity, the support group that Jakim and Tahira runs, they are online. So yeah, it's hybrid, you could say.
Oh, nice. Chanel, what's your number?
Right. My number is 828-4338.
828-4338. 828-4338.
Correct.
Well done. That's easy to remember as well. And you're thoroughly enjoying the cafe, aren't you?
Definitely.
Meeting new people, sharing experiences, and encouraging people as they go as well. And so there's the other arm that you two also operate. Now talk to me a little bit about that, Jackie.
Right. So as I said, Pearson, we would have created, Tahira and I, we would have created a support group, an online support group. We would meet once a month on Sundays via the Zoom platform. And we also, an event we had, it goes really, really well. As I said, it's ongoing. And we also had a public awareness campaign. And we had 4 sessions thus far. We had persons, we had gerontologists on the program already. We had doctors, we had clinical psychologists. And as I said, we reached as far as the UK. Our last session, we had close to 100 persons.
Well done.
So Memory Cafe Barbados is not just a fly-by-night thing. The whole idea of the cafe support group, educational group, was done via scientific analysis and scientific research. We would have done our research, we did needs assessment, we did interviews, we did questionnaires to solidify the fact that there's such a need for such a program in Barbados. And believe me, as you know, Pearson, from experience, as you were sharing, there is a need for such facilities in Barbados.
And so to hear it's a charity.
Yes.
And charity needs support.
Yes.
How do you go about doing that?
Okay, for right now, we just go based on donations. If it is that someone wants to donate towards the cafe, then they can reach out to Sarah or Chantal, and they will be able to do so via them.
Y'all are the engine, right? Y'all are the two young engines. Y'all was making it happen, turning the wheels, indeed. And that's good. It's good to see that you've been able to pull them along to help you do all of this, indeed. And you're doing tremendous work, I must say, because there are. It's almost as if in Barbados, every family has been touched by dementia or memory loss. And memory loss can come through an accident of some sort, you know. So memory loss doesn't have to be simply dementia. But you see the changes in your loved ones, and you're struggling because you want to retain as much as possible that good relationship with your loved one.
And to
How do you manage it?
Sorry to see it, but to see your loved one changing just like that right before your eyes, sometimes it can just be like so emotional and heartbreaking. So sometimes to have that support behind you, and then sometimes it has been expressed through the interviews as well as the questionnaires. Some of them don't have that support system outside of that person that they're dealing with. So it's like to have that community, to know that someone is out there is a good help for them as well.
That is important.
Something that I would like to say to let Barbados know is that we are also open to persons who might not be officially diagnosed with memory loss. So we are not saying that you have to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia. Like you say, it could happen from an accident, or if you realize that your loved one is experiencing memory loss but hasn't been officially diagnosed, we are open to inviting you to our cafe also.
For diagnosis?
No, please.
So yeah, the cafe is open. The Memory Cafe Barbados is open to everyone. It's a lived experience, and so we can all, because we don't know when we will meet it if we haven't already done so, but certainly you can fortify yourself in the Memory Cafe if you're managing it and you need that support. The Memory Cafe Barbados, and if you just want to help, the Memory Cafe Barbados. Remind us your number, Sarah, quickly.
822-2177.
Right, and
828-4338.
There you go. Those are the numbers to call quickly and register to be a part of the Memory Cafe. They meet every month and they're looking forward to seeing you. The information is right there on your screen, offering care, support, and connection through all of that. So take a look and connect right away with the Memory Cafe. Thank you, Sarah, Chanel, Jakeem, and Tahira.
Yes,
thank you so very much indeed.
So
all the very best. And I like what you're doing. I really, really commend you on this. You're welcome. We're coming back right after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
CBC TV8, the home of championships, will be bringing live coverage of Gold Cup, NAPSAT and BSAT in the month of March. Packages are available for sponsorship now. Contact your CBC sales representative today or call 467-5559.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources. He'll give you the people. Not only will He equip you with ideas, but He will equip you with favor, as He did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The people I work with, they bring me joy every day. Hey, Anita Baker sang a song about that. Listen, I have one quick question. Something tells me this one is going to go forward to tomorrow. Can we do that? Yeah. Here we go. Quick. Get on your phone. Quick. The question is, what loses its head in the morning but gets it back at night? What loses its head in the morning but gets it back at night? You think you can do that? 228-5562 or 228-5563. I'm hearing the name of my producer as one of those people who loses their head in the morning but gets it back at night. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What loses its head in the morning but gets it back at night? And she's going to come for me, I'm telling you. What loses... She came for me. What loses his head in the morning but gets it back? Do you want to join me on set? What loses its head in the morning but gets it back at night. 228-5562 or 63. Think about that for tomorrow. Think about it for tomorrow. I am in trouble. I am in trouble. But don't forget, today at the Coleridge and Parry School, after lunch, they're having the cricket match, past versus present. Tomorrow is careers showcase and the basketball in the afternoon from 3:30. Basketball match, past versus present. But Fine Arts Fusion is on Thursday. All of the schools of the North will come together and we will all engage in the art exhibition plus the entertainment in the evening time. She's watching me like this. Miss, thank you so very much for watching, everybody. Thank you. We want to wish you a lovely today. My little cruise also says thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning.